In your diagram, when you design it at the beginning for the planning, you have to depict each posting definition too and see how they are being linked and kind of mimic the end result for yourself. And of course, you have a test wizard too that graphically shows you what is going to happen. There are some restrictions. Any posting definition that you create can link to another posting definition or to be linked from, not both. Otherwise, you create infinite loop, obviously. You cannot link it to any other posting definition if it's not from the same module either. So keep that in mind. They have to be part of the same module. If you have a posting definition for general ledger, you can link it to a posting definition on the budget module. You can assign a posting definition to any transaction type, but the transaction type must be in the same module as well. So these are the restrictions that you have to consider. Now, let's see how a posting definition can be indeed created. In this scenario, I go to a newly created legal entity that I've defined. As you see, I have no posting definition whatsoever. I go very slow. I create a brand new one and I call it AP Settle. It stands for AP Settlement, Accounts Payable Settlement. Guess what? The first required option that I need to have is linking this to a module. So that means this posting definition belongs, let's say, to the bank. Obviously, I'm settling my invoices and dues off of a bank. I have to deduct money from the bank and pay the vendor. I link it to a bank. Then I add a criteria. And as you see, based on those account structures that I've added to my legal entity, they are being appeared here. So which one is it? Vendor invoice, obviously, is supposed to be something. Either as a balance, is it expense? As a matter of fact, you can have all three or just one of each. I choose balance for this first example. Let's say from the balance, based on my account structure regulations, remember I told you that each structure can have a range of accounts and they cannot overlap. You have to have a range of main accounts because one account can only be linked to one account structure at all times. Keep that in mind. In this scenario, as you see, based on my account structure, fund was the first segment. In yours may be different. It's completely up to you. I can pick and choose a fund of my choice. If I pick a value here, that's a matching criteria. That means must have that fund. If I use any other fund, it's not going to pick up this specific rule. So let's say I'm just going to pick and choose one of these structure, which has the value of 998 as one of my fund value. Now, on the second segment, if I don't put any account whatsoever, it means any account, as long as it has that fund. If I put an account, then has to exactly match that fund and that account. I'm going to put in a value like 24710. Happens to be one of my accounts. Another option, as you see, is a priority. You could indeed have the same account structure to be repeated twice. Balance twice, but two different matching accounts, like 998 instead of 24710, you could have 998 24711. But then the highest priority, it will be picked up first. If, hypothetically, that account is stopped, not to be able to post any transaction against, the rule automatically goes to the next rule. So that gives you lots of flexibility. So in this scenario, I just make it very simple for now. I say, if I use this fund and this account 24710, then I'm going to have the system to generate an entry for me where I'm just going to put it on the balance again. I'll make it very simple. Balance goes to balance. And then I say, you know what? Keep the same fund. I'm not going to put any fund in there. Whatever the fund is, use that. But use a completely different account in there. Like associated with this, which happens to be associated with one of my liquidity account. Happens to be a bank account, let's say. And as you see, the generated debit or a credit, it says, is it the balancing or is it the same? You use the same if you have multiple generated entries. Otherwise, it's never getting balanced. In this scenario, what does that mean? The match criteria, whatever the account is, 998 24710. If you credit that, balancing means you debit 11010.